All right, ladies and germs, welcome to episode 6 of the ABCs of TPBs. I'm your host, Dave, Ninja Dave, and I've got my co-host, Mr. Seed, here with us.
Now I noticed there was a pause there. Did you have to remember what letter F was?
I think I did. I had to reverse engineer it. So I had to go with the letters and then go back and start counting back, and then I pulled out the slide rule, and the fire broke out. And so I mean, it was pretty touch and go.
I was never good. Off the top of your head, do you know what number Q is?
I'm gonna say no.
Fair enough.
Off the top of my head, anything other than A, B, or C, and then X, Y, Z. That gets a little shaky there at the end.
How many letters do we have? 25?
I think it's 26, isn't it?
Yeah, 26.
I don't know. Right. It's been a long time since I've been in first grade.
It's been a long time since I passed that test.
No, it's like the new math. But anyway, so we have 2 books for you guys today. Mm-hmm. We've got FF, the Future Foundation, written by Jonathan Hickman.
Yes.
Artist Steve Epting, issues 1 and 3, and Barry Kitson, issues 4 through 5. Inker Steve Epting, Rick Magyar, Butch Geis, Barry Kitson, color artist Paul Mounts, and we also have Fables, the first trade in that. Would you like to tell a little bit about Fables, good sir?
Well, I'll do that when we get to the Fables half of the show.
Well, okay, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Why has Dave just kind of messed up the format? He just does.
I mean, it's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while.
It has been a while.
How are we doing on the Gomez graphic?
We are. You know what? If I remember correctly, you said you were going to make the Gomez graphic.
Did I say I was going to do that?
Yes.
I don't recall that at all. This is part where you insert the audio clip, and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna set up the Gomez graphic. I mean, I can do this. I can like a star rating system or something.
There you go.
Put your name and my name and some stars underneath it.
I like it.
Or a tick mark or something. Maybe I mean, you got horses and trash cans. We're gonna do something different. Maybe we'll have some new. We'll do some. I'll come up with something new. I'll send it your way. But yes, we'll have a graphic that we put up like with each episode. Like, boom, here's what the Alicia's score.
Alicia Gomez, the Gomez graphic.
The Gomez graphic. Boom.
Oh, believe me, if I think I know what episode it was. I'm gonna have to go back.
If you can find it, then I'll just soundly refute it as fake news, like number 45
does. Okay, yeah. Fair enough.
So where we are in the story with the Future Foundation, Johnny Storm. Actually, I'll read that part to you.
You got like a little prologue. What you call it?
Yeah, a little prologue. So this is tomorrow. But the Human Torch has died. The Fantastic Four is no more.
Good.
Welcome to tomorrow. Welcome to the Future Foundation.
Now, before we get into the Future Foundation too much, let's take it back a step.
Okay.
What's your interaction with the Fantastic Four like? Are you a huge FF fan? Are they? Because for me and some of my friends, we are very regimented in the stories we like to read. All of my Marvel stories, the vast majority, are very grounded, very Avengers. Something is happening here; it needs to be taken care of. I have other friends that are very like magic based, like they love Strange and they love like Dr. Fate and all that kind of good shit. And then I have other friends that are very much sci-fi based, so they like the old '80s X-Men runs where they're out in space with Shi'ar or Nova, Green Lantern. I guess Fantastic Four would be more of that space-oriented type deal, because that's
it's not just space. It's they're just those adventurers that go seeking the unknown.
Okay, so they are the Lost in Space of Marvel, though.
They're kind of like that, but they're all over the place though. They're doing stuff on Earth. They're doing stuff underneath the Earth's crust. They're doing things in the parallel universe aside from Earth. Out in space, it's just they're everywhere. They're the ones. Like I said, they're called the First Family. They're nicknamed the First Family because they were one of the biggest groups that set off this Marvel universe in the way that they encountered monsters, villains, and just saved the world over and over again. With a huge emphasis on science, because their leader Reed Richards is the science guy, and he almost sacrifices all else in pursuit of knowledge and the scientific method.
So, were you a heavy Fantastic Four reader back in the day?
I wouldn't say I was a heavy reader. It was kind of periphery. It was kind of like they're kind of the glue that held the Marvel universe together. Yeah. I know that you have not been much of a fan, but we'll get to that in a moment. But no, their stuff is always, because they're kind of lighthearted adventure. They always seem to be something to draw you back to them eventually. Some crossover event or just something that they're doing that, they blast a hole and now they're in the negative zone, and that, leaves the door open for Annihilus and all of his throng. The characters that they had are pretty interesting. You know, you've got Mr. Fantastic, who is all about science and discovering and that kind of thing. And he has his wife, Sue Richards. She's the invisible woman. She's kind of like some kind of the balance with Reed, even though they seem to have a very strained relationship because
they do have a strange relationship. Like she puts up with a lot of Reed shit.
She does. Everybody puts up with Reed shit, but I mean, how else can you deal with it? And you've got Johnny Storm, he's the hothead of the group. He's the one that actually has powers that he enjoys, and he actually he makes a pretty good go at it, just enjoying life. Yeah. And then you got the Thing, who's kind of the reverse of that. He got powers that kind of deformed him, and you know, he's super strong, but he wishes he could turn on and off like the rest of the group could. Yeah. But he's stuck in that form. Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of the basics where they started out. But here there's a huge shakeup. But you asked me again about my other stuff about Fantastic Four. I think the most Fantastic Four stuff I've read in a sequence was the Ultimate Fantastic Four. Okay, all right. And I like that because, you know, the original Fantastic Four had gotten a little bit stale to me. Yeah. And you know, the Ultimate Universe just shook everything up, and I love that. Yeah, the Ultimate Universe seemed to make everything a little bit more edgier, a little bit more hardcore. The Ultimates, which is 1604's version of the Avengers, were a little bit more gritty. I guess it was supposed to be Marvel's gritty universe. Not necessarily gritty. It just what the Ultimates lines did for all of the franchises was it took those established universes, those established characters, those groups, and then brought them into our current history. As if, like, say, with the Ultimates, they're the Avengers. We have the Avengers movies today thanks to the Ultimates, what they did there, because they even the casting decisions of getting Samuel L. Jackson up there as Nick Fury. I mean, that's one of the main things. But it just took all those older characters that had been around for a while, and they thrust them into our present, saying, hey, you know, if these heroes were coming out in our time, here's how they would be. Worked. And it worked. All right then. So let's get into this. Let's get into this episode, man. This issue. Yeah, the Future Foundation. Johnny Storm has died, and if you want to check out, you should check out this entire run from Hickman, because he crafts a wonderful story. I haven't read the entire thing myself, but I have not been let down by anything Hickman has done. But in this series, the family is just dealing with bringing on a new member in the form of Spider-Man to round out the four characters there. You have Ben Grimm struggling with his guilt of watching Johnny Storm die, but not being able to do anything about it. Word. You've got Reed just being himself. Yeah. He's just kind of that techie jackass. I still don't see why Sue and he are still together. I mean, yeah. I get they have kids together. I get that they were flames at one point. Do you think they stay together just for the kids? I don't think so, because I mean they could. Do you think there's some actual love there? I think they could co-parent. Reed can't co-parent shit. Well, I mean he'd have a clone of himself or some replicant and be like, "Hey, this is your father for today." You know, Reed 214. But no, I honestly don't get their dynamic. And you know, it's been a mainstay in the series for years that there's been kind of like this loose love triangle between the two of them, and then Namor, the Submariner. Mm-hmm. Namor wants that Sue Richards. He wants that. I'm sure he's had it quite a few times too. But ain't nothing like some underwater sex, baby. Hey, or on land sex, just to keep it, keep things interesting. But no, I don't get what's keeping Sue and Reed together. Sue is obviously kind of over Reed, and Reed is just too busy with his head up his ass, with his scientific exploits, to really care about the rest of it. So I throughout my entire history with the Fantastic Four, I've never really seen a reason why Sue and Reed need to stay together. Reed, back in the days before the whole cosmic ray shit went down, had to have been the smoothest criminal on the planet. Like, he had to be a smooth operator. I don't know. Maybe we should post that question out to the people of Pop Regan and see. Maybe they got a
a good explanation of why Sue puts up. It's not like why do they stay together. I think the base question is why does Sue put up with Reed's shit?
Well, I mean, you don't want to go with the obvious thing. I mean, he can stretch his body to impossible.
Yeah, I thought about saying something, but
the sex thing. I mean, that would debase Sue. That'd be like Sue is like, hey, she's just in it for the dick. And, and you know, there's something else that's going on.
Yeah,
but you know, I've never seen.
I think Sue's too smart to get dickmatized.
Maybe.
Yeah, Sue, I think Sue's the most common sense of the group.
She is the most common sense. She is the voice of reason in the group.
Yeah.
But still, it's just she's the linchpin keeping all this the group together. But still, I don't know. I just kind of get the feeling that she's kind of done with it.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, good for her if she is. We see Doom make his return in this after being less than himself. He'd been almost lobotomized.
Yeah. Who brings Doom back?
They actually brought back by the daughter.
Yes,
Valeria. And Valeria's been cooking up her own stuff behind the scenes, and she has a reason why she's brought Doom back into the mix. But yeah, it's just there's a lot of stuff going on in this, and I think should we talk about the Council of Reeds?
I mean, it's kind of the whole purpose of the book.
I mean, one read is bad enough, but then you have a council. It's like the Council of Ricks from the Rick and Morty show. It's like you get all these motherfuckers together, and they're gonna start sciencing shit, and it's gonna be just like in Jurassic Park that they did all this just because they could, but they never stop to ask themselves if they should.
They should. Yeah. From what and I'm still trying to figure out what's going on here. So Valeria accidentally allowed a shit ton of Reeds.
I mean, accidentally.
You think it was purposefully?
Well, I mean, she accidentally stumbled onto a sinister plot by the Council of Reeds.
Yeah, that's what it was. She actually stumbled into and the sinister plot seems to be that they're wrecking worlds, aren't they?
They're wrecking realities. They're wrecking realities because they reached beyond their grasp and pissed off some Celestials. And those Celestials are on their asses,
coming after their ass,
destroying each reality that they're in, just to make sure they stamp out each member of the Reeds.
Now I took a look at this. The first printing is 2012, which means this is happening, if my math is right, right as Hickman's Avengers run began. And the whole premise of that world is Celestials and the Beyonders are stamping out worlds. I'm not sure if this directly ties in or if they're just stamping out worlds and also enjoying trying to kill all the Reed Richards they can while doing so.
I mean, who doesn't enjoy killing a good Reed? I mean, there's an actual scene in this book where they gather a host of Reed's most deadly villains to figure out how to kill Reed Richards. Yeah. And he himself is at the meeting. He's like, I understand why we're here, but I'm still kind of not okay with this.
yeah. He's like, this is all conceptual. Remember this shit, motherfuckers. All this shit. So at this
By the way, I'm just Reed.
At this council, it's pretty much a who's who of former Fantastic Four villains, right? We got and his dad, Nathaniel Richards, who has come back into Reed's life, and then his daughter Valeria is also, because this whole thing is Valeria's idea. Also, the High Evolutionary is there. The Watcher is there, so you know that some real shit's about to go down if a Watcher shows up. The Mad Thinker is there. The Wizard is in the mix, and also the Wizard's AIM lieutenants, Advanced Idea Mechanics, which is like, who would you compare AIM to in the real world? Is this people who work for Elon Musk?
Well, I mean, the AIM is they're really more. They have that evil bent to it. So maybe Monsanto.
Okay. The Diablo's there.
I can't think of anyone in real life that has a throng of evil scientists ready to do their bidding. Everyone is defunding science.
That's a good point.
Well, I won't say everybody. I'll just say the United States.
Yeah. I assure you, a council of evil scientists exists somewhere. Okay. We're just not supposed to know about it.
No, exactly. They're think tanks, secret think tanks.
Yes. Wizard's there, Diablo's there, and of course, none other than Victor Vaughn. Doom. A lot of people say that Jonathan Hickman is the best person to write Doom, to ever understand Doom. Would you agree with that assessment, sir?
I'd have to read a lot more stuff about Doom. I've read a fair share of Doom one shots, and one of my favorites is the one where he is on the alternate moon that's directly across from Earth in its current, but on the other side of the sun.
Mm-hmm.
When that short series where he essentially starts from nothing and builds up an empire and takes over that Earth. That's a great fucking Doom story.
Okay, all right, then I'll look for this. Yeah. So the whole purpose of this, I guess, would be to figure out how to stop these reads,
right?
From busting up all of realities for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get a lot of answers in this joint. This is a whole volume of setups there.
It's the whole thing of setup. I will say there's one thing that I did not like about it, and that's at the end where Sue was like, "Hey, tell me what's going on," and he does the, "Oh, Sue, I've gone and done something terrible." Yeah. I was like, "Oh my god, that's so fucking Reed." I was like, "You don't feel fucking remorse for anything you've done until it starts blowing up in your goddamn face."
Yeah, that is 100% correct. 100% correct. There it is. Just look at him.
Yeah.
Just look at him. He looks like a dog who knows he just got caught doing some shit that he wasn't supposed to be doing. I hate the way that his character has been portrayed classically. And I liked him more in the Ultimate Fantastic Four. At least that one was like, I'm out to prove something. I want to try to get the girl. He was in the process of convincing Sue into being his lawfully wedded. Yeah, but then he was a maker, doesn't he?
He turns to the maker, but but I'm just saying, he actually had an arc. There are things that he wanted to do, and it was more realistic than just the standard 80s Doc Bannon, Johnny Quest, kind of science.
Shout out to Ray
science.
I think I don't know a whole lot of Fantastic Four, but what I know of the old Fantastic Four is that's not exactly how Reed was. He used to be like a deep thinker, and he was science in pursuit for science's sake, for the betterment of mankind.
Yeah.
Now it's just he's almost just like not power hungry, but knowledge hungry, and will do whatever. Yeah, Reed's damn near a villain. Yeah. So the character has evolved.
He's like, what is it, lawful neutral or whatever?
I don't know. Chaotic neutral.
Chaotic neutral. Yeah. He's like a Tony Stark, man. Tony Stark's just popping up all over the place. Get rid of those fuckers.
The world needs more Tony Starks. What do you think about the art from Epting? Steve Epting, the dude who also did Captain America: The Winter Soldier art.
Epting stuff is solid throughout, man.
Yeah.
I have no problems with, no qualms.
I've met
everything's expressive.
He's a cool cat.
Yeah, you've met him before. You said?
Yeah.
That Doom is good, man.
That Doom is good.
That Doom. It can only be preceded by a white page.
yeah. If you have a splash page of Doom, it has to be a white page. It's an all white page somewhere.
Yeah, just palate cleanser.
So, there it is. This is my favorite segment of this whole joint is Valeria trolling Doom.
Valeria trolling a Doom that is a bit mentally deficient.
Yeah. So that's one reason she didn't get her neck snapped. Is A, mentally deficient. B, if I recall correctly, my memory is a little bit hazy, but Doom is Valeria's godfather,
yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I guess he can't really snap his gut out. It's probably the only reason why they haven't really tried to kill each other too badly. Or they do in Secret Wars.
His thing is Reed Richards, not, Valeria.
Yeah. All his spite is at Reed, not at Susan or Johnny or Pam.
Yeah, you guys are just a fallout. You're complicating my plans, but the real target, the real threat, Reed Richards.
Reed Richards, man. Are you more of a you more of a Doom dude, or are you more of a Reed dude?
I'm always more of a Doom dude. I can't think of anybody who's like, hey, I love the Fantastic Four. Who's your favorite character? Reed Richards. No one says that. No one fucking says that. The dude is just fucking there. He has one. That's why I don't like him, because he has one function. He's that guy who is in the pursuit of knowledge and just ready to fuck shit up. Hey, I discovered this new thing here. All of a sudden we're trapped. Oh, it's going to threaten the world. Blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. You did this, Reed. Oh, I did it again. We have to solve it. The Fantastic Four to the rescue,
Yeah. No.
Reed is the... He has a group. He has set up a group to clean up the mistakes that he makes.
That's what the Fantastic Four are.
That's what the Fantastic Four are.
Oh,
he's Tony Stark with groupies.
Yeah. I don't know if I go that far.
Well, I mean,
I don't know if I go that far with
it. It has been stated that he can, because he can stretch. He also is able to stretch his brain and acquire more knowledge that way as well.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
No, okay, then that's not real. So what do you think about Spider-Man being there in addition to the Fantastic Four? Do you think he's a good fit?
I mean, he's been in the Four before.
Yeah. He's an old school blue uniform for back in the day.
He did do that. He's honestly just the insider to and the introductory vehicle for the readers in this. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I guess they could have chosen someone else, but Spider-Man Spider-Man. Yeah. He's going to be cracking jokes and saying, "Hey, this thing that everyone accepts as normal, I want to crack a joke at it because I know your readers are thinking the same thing." Mm-hmm. Like I said, I get it, but he's just kind of there. He doesn't really seem to add much to it. If anything, he kind of pisses a few people off, and he's just kind of there.
Okay.
He's just kind of there.
He's kind of there.
He's just kind of. What? How did you feel about it?
I mean, yeah, it's the same thing. I know him and Johnny were real tight. Mm-hmm. So I think that was like the Peter's impetus for taking over the Fantastic Four spot. Mm-hmm. Which, when you really think about how time works, he has none whatsoever. He's got the full Spider-Man gig. He's an Avenger. He's one of the Future Foundation. Spidey has no time to breathe. Yep. Which is probably why Mary Jane left his ass in the first place.
That's probably good too.
But I am a fan of this all white and black Spider-Man. I'm a fan of the Future Foundation's uniforms. You're
just thinking about Anti-Venom and how white is the new black and how that's never going to be true.
Is that this shit just threw me for a loop? Right, I didn't know. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. What? Volume 1, right?
Mm-hmm. Volume 1.
The question is, you moving on to Volume 2?
I'm gonna get the whole thing. I'm not just Volume 2. I gotta get the precursor to this, so I can get the lead up.
Like the Giant Storm Death.
Yeah,
and all that.
Yeah, because I mean, Hickman was that he was the
Hickman's the man.
He's the mastermind behind all that stuff. So
yeah,
you gotta see how it starts and how it finishes.
Okay,
just in time for me to say I don't give a shit about this Avengers Infinity War thing. Oh, by the way, I needed to bring that back to you.
What?
The Infinity War.
Did you borrow my gauntlet?
Yeah. No, the Infinity. The
Infinity book.
Yeah. I gotta bring it back to you.
I
got like maybe. Yeah, I know. Well, you know what? I'll retract my statement. That's the first thing I've encountered. The first thing that I've encountered that was not. I couldn't go.
If you read it the way I read it the way you read it the first time. I was like, it's the big Marvel crossover event. Let me read it. And I read it and I was like, this makes no fucking sense whatsoever. But then if you read it as it's meant to be woven in with the rest of the Avengers stories, because this comes in the dead middle of Hickman's whole Avengers run, it all makes complete and perfect sense.
So I have to read all the other stuff that goes along with it?
Yeah, it is the Avengers run that I suggest everybody read. If you're like, man, I don't know about the Avengers, I don't know where to start, you start with Hickman's New Avengers Volume 1, and you can just Google it up. There's a website with the complete reading order of how to read Hickman's New Avengers, Infinity, Original Sin, Secret Wars.
Well, why did you give that to me without giving me that primer, sir?
You asked for it.
Yeah, I did.
Well, then I gave it to you. You asked and you received.
You're supposed to be. It's like if I said, "Hey, hand me that plutonium there." Hey, there's a couple things you want to know about this plutonium before you just pick it up and take it with you.
Okay,
I mean, that's what friends do.
That's what friends do. I thought a friend asked and a friend helped. And Fantastic Four actually ends up being, one could say, towards the end of the whole Hickman Avengers run in the Secret Wars. Mm-hmm. Fantastic Four is the backbone of it all. He brings everything together, and it is wonderful. The Maker is in there fucking stuff up towards the end, and it's got everything to want, man.
Okay.
Currently on sale right now. If you're listening to this the day it goes up. Get that Hickman New Avengers Volume 1 and roll from there. You do the same, sir.
All right. I'll do it.
Is that it? Anything else for the
Future Foundation? I got it. It's a go for me. What is it for you?
It's a go for me, too. No time soon, probably. I got too much shit I got to read. But I am highly interested in getting to Volume 2 to see what happens with all this Reed Richards nonsense. And see, if nothing else, how it gets resolved. And Doom's part in it all. I think Reed gives his children far too much freedom.
Well,
I guess he's one of those free-range parents.
What is he going to do? Parent them?
I mean,
he's not going to do that.
There's no time for science if he does that.
Yeah, he'd sooner build a robot to parent them than to. And I think he did. I think that like one of the guys with the little floating robot thingy. I think he was an educational tool for the kids or whatever.
Well, I think the big gargoyle cat is.
Well, he didn't make the gargoyle.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's what they use him for. It's pretty much a glorified nanny, pretty much. Sorts.
Yeah, I'm just saying. He doesn't have time to parent.
That's sad.
He knows that he already. I mean, and the thing is, he has enough foresight to know that if he did try to parent, he'd fuck it up.
You think so?
Yeah,
you think so?
I know so. That's why he's like, I'm not cut out for this. Anybody else is better than me.
Yeah, that's your job.
This fucking crackhead down here at the corner of the Baxter Building got a better shot of being a better dad than me. And she's a woman, so.
I guess that goes for both of them. We've been on a roll with this whole Go business lately, haven't we? Yeah, I think we have.
We have some pretty good ones in there. Well, are we going to pause the segment? Get ready for the next.
Take a pause for the cause, and we'll be back with some Fables.
Maybe you people are better off without me. Go ahead. I say there's a place for us, but maybe it's just another pipe dream. Maybe I'm fooling myself again. Well, why don't you go and find out yourself? Send me your postcard. Go on, there's the door. You can do better. Let's see how far you get. No takers? Fine. But get one thing straight. You're staying. This isn't a democracy anymore.
What?
We are back.
We are back.
To talk about the second F book of the evening, Fables. Fables by Bill Willingham, man. The art is by Lan Medina. With Steve Funky Cold Medina, Steve Leola and Craig Hamilton inkers, with the Sherilyn Van Vilkenbouw as colorist. They went all out.
Van Vilkenbouw.
They're like, "What's your name? We need an inker." He's like, "My name is Steve James." Like, "You're far too regular.
You're too regular.
You're too regular.
Bring Van Vilkenbouw to me, my boy."
The Fables, the whole shebang bang, is created in the head of Bill Willingham, man. Legend in Exile is what Volume 1 is, and it's a giant setup. It gives you the world of the Fables and how they interact with what they call the Mundies, the more mundane people like you and I, and how they live in this secret society of the people that we were told about as fairy tales as kids, right? So you have people like your Big Bad Wolf and your Riding Hood and Jack with his 3 beans or whatever, and the Beanstalk and Little Boy Blue and Beauty and the Beast making an appearance. All these cats. We set up the world, and we start off with the murder mystery, man. Who killed Rose Red? Now, getting into this. This is not your first time reading Fables, right?
No.
Yeah. Who killed Rose Red? Did you remember who Rose Red was growing up as a kid?
No.
Me either.
I didn't get that deep into fairy tale. I got more into mythology.
Really? Okay. Yeah. So you were never like a Hansel and Gretel dude or anything like that?
I read some Hansel and Gretel.
Okay. All right.
Only far enough to see them triumph.
Okay. All right. That's all you need to know. So yeah, Rose Red was one of the and the thing about it is their lifespan is powered by our belief or our passing along these stories, which is a problem Rose Red has later on in the future because they acknowledge that nobody remembers who the fuck Rose Red was.
Right. It's the theme that pops up in Neil Gaiman's American Gods book as well. Also, TV show as well if you don't have time for the book.
I have seen American Gods.
No, really good.
Incredibly good show. Incredibly good show. So we have a murder mystery, man. Our sheriff for Fabletown, which is where they all are. Fableton. So the setup is they all lived in their own separate kingdoms. Cinderella was in her kingdom. Snow White was in her kingdom. Beauty and the Beast was a different kingdom. All of the different fairy tales had their own kingdoms. Something called the Adversary systemically wiped out and invaded every single one of their characters. And they are the survivors that have fled to this area of New York that is called Fabletown.
And they couldn't exactly bring all their wealth with them, so some of them are, understandably struggling.
Yes, some of them, were not ill, or some of them weren't very wealthy in the first place. Somebody tells me that Big Bad Wolf just wasn't sitting on a whole bunch of riches back in the days.
Well, I mean, it's Big Bad Wolf. I mean, what are you gonna do?
He eats and he's good.
His biggest concern is food and fleas.
Yeah, food and fleas. All he needs is his biggest concern is bricks, probably. Houses made out of brick. Mm-hmm. He's the detective. He's the sheriff. He enforces the peace. He's renounced his Big Bad Wolf days. And
everyone has started over. It's kind of like, all right,
second life.
It was before the adversary and then after the adversary, and now we're starting fresh.
Yeah,
we remember the stuff that's happened before. We're leaving that under the bridge. Let's not speak of it. That's one of the unwritten rules.
Hey, no one. I feel like that never works, right? You're always gonna have your bias and judgments.
You're always going to.
Yeah,
that's why it works in this continuity.
Yeah,
because everyone just they quote unquote forgave, but they didn't forget.
Exactly. I hear shit like, you hear it in the courtroom, somebody would be like, blah, 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 and they're like, strike that from the record.
Mm-hmm. I still heard it.
But the jurors heard that shit,
right.
And you best believe they're going to factor that into decisions that they make. So the whole murder mystery is what this whole thing is about, man. And it's just trying to figure out what happened to Rose Red, who was Jack of Jack and the Beanstalk's fame's girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And through this, we meet Snow White, who is pretty much the mayor in all but name, and
she is a tough bitch.
She is Snow White might be one of my favorite characters in this whole thing. And she starts off a little bit not to my liking, but as the series has progressed, as far as I've read, I've really come to get down with Snow White a lot. Yeah. So the whole thing is just one giant murder mystery, and I'm a sucker for murder mysteries
and
whodunits in strange elements. Like if it's a story about somebody was killed in a library, whodunit, I'm like, don't care. Yeah. But if it's like somebody was killed in a spaceship, whodunit, I'm like, I'm all in now. Now you've added enough of a weird otherworldly type twist.
Okay.
That I mean, this is a fantasy.
That's why the Black Monday Murder is also written by Hickman. Sure.
I just picked up volume 2 the other day, sir.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I have no idea what the fuck's going on in this series.
Well,
it's some weighty shit, man.
That's kind of thing. You gotta read all the footnotes.
That's just, yes, I was skipping over the footnotes first time I read it.
No. That's 50 minutes reading time you've already cut out. It's crucial. It's crucial.
Okay. All right, then I'll go back and reread volume 1 with all it. I mean, shit, Watchmen, I skipped over all the written text and all that kind of stuff, too.
Can't do it at all. It's all.
I mean, hell, Autumnlands, I skipped over that written text too. But anyways, it's just
you and words.
Me and words. Yeah, I mean, I write them, but I don't like to read them. Right. So, what did you think about this murder mystery, sir? Did it seem plausible to you? Was it? You think were there any enough clues that led to solving of this murder? How did you like the way that Bigby Wolf handled the whole situation?
Well, Bigby is he's a straightforward guy. He's got the nose of Wolverine, those senses, what have you. I thought the murder mystery element was handled okay. Yeah. They didn't give you a whole lot, but it's more of that suspension of disbelief and you filling in the gaps with, hey, fairy tale stuff. So, it on that level, it worked for me.
So you're saying the murder mystery was more used as a backdrop just to introduce the reader to the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is the introductory. So you gotta introduce. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it didn't go too heavy-handed on the murder mystery. It's just, hey, this happened. Here's let's truck out everyone all the players you can get, and then we can go from there.
Yeah. Yeah. We get people like Prince Charming in here doing what he does. And all sorts of people. There's stuff I had to go back and research. Like, I kind of remember hearing about this guy, and he's got fairy tales from all sorts of other elements of other cultures. Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was a really cool way to do it too.
Yeah,
it's not just one group of fairy tales. You get inclusivity from around the world.
Yeah, I think the whole idea of Bluebeard killing his wife on their wedding nights, which I think he's done like 4 times in this series.
He's like, I don't do that anymore. I used to be into that. It's just not but I quit.
Yeah, that's not an American deal, but I can't remember where he comes from. It might be European or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, is this a strong enough introductory volume to get you into the next shit.
Well, I mean, yeah, because I read a lot more Fables after that. Yeah. You know, because like I said, I read this series years ago.
Yeah.
It's been a while since then, but it was nice, you know, reading. I recommend it to people. Like I said, before you go to all these TV shows like Grimm and Happily Ever After, all that kind of stuff. All that stuff, you know, Once Upon a Time, all that stuff came out because Fables did it first and did it right.
Once Upon a Time specifically because Bill Williams went to ABC and said, "Hey, I have this series that has won many, many, many awards. Take a look at it." And they're like, "Get the fuck out, Bill." Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden,
we have anyone else who can do what he did, but just market it as something else.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. And then Once Upon a Time came out quite shittily, as far as I have heard from other people. I have not checked it out. Have you checked it out?
I think I may have watched a few episodes, just when it first came out, to see, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then I said, oh, this is what they're doing with it. This is shit. I have better things to do with my
time. Like, I don't know, wash dishes or cut the grass.
Yeah.
Or anything like that.
You know,
literally anything better.
Let me stick my hand down this mulcher here and see if I can
root around and find out anything.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the art. It's got that kind of old school comic book art. I was trying to figure out.
I'm surprised
because it is old school. I'm not sure when this came out.
It's not old school.
It's 2002. So yeah.
It was purposefully. I mean, because you see the art pages done in a vastly different way than it is. They intentionally went for that look. The question is, how did you stand it, good sir?
I was all caught up in the story, man. So I didn't really. Yeah,
didn't mind the art because the words caught you, huh?
The words caught me, man. I didn't mind the art.
So is this the first thing that you've read like that, where you're like, hey, the story, the artwork is not my bag, but the story has got me hooked. Yeah. This is the first.
Yes.
Even Sandman.
Sandman is. I tried. I tried
too. That's why I was like, it's as critically acclaimed. Everyone says this is the best. I went back and looked at it. I was like, it's just kind of a little bit iffy. It makes you feel bad looking at it.
It was Fables Volume 1 was one of those joints where on Comixology it was heavily discounted for some odd purpose, some reason. Mm-hmm. I think it was right as the series was ending. Comixology had a big sale on it. So I picked up Volume 1 for the cheap, or it might have even been free. And I was like, well, I hear a lot about this. Let me see what it's talking about. Read Volume 1, dug the shit out of it. Mm-hmm. And I think Heroes Con was like months later. And so I just ravaged boxes looking for Fables. And I've got pretty much all the series.
Yeah. Well, take a look. I mean, you look at this page here specifically. And you stop on this one. But it has some action with Jack running down the hallway. He's going in there. You see the detail, all the shading on his pants, his shirt there, detail in the office. So there's a lot of detail that's put there. Even like that panel there where he's just sweating and he's just kind of it's even though it's done in that old style, it has a crispness to it to kind of to make it more contemporary, I guess you could say. Even like the boobs on the women and the musculature of the men. It's done in a way that if you had gone to comics way back when that were done in this style, you wouldn't have this level of detail.
Yeah. So that's a go for both of us. I would say. I mean, have you read the entire series?
I read most of it. I didn't finish it.
You didn't finish it?
Yeah.
And did you not finish it because you just lost interest, or because you just decided to hop on something else?
I think something else caught my. There may have been the transition period, because that's usually what happens. I get interrupted by something else, and by the time I come back to it, I'm like, oh, I gotta either start the series way over from some other portion, or just come back to it. I'm kind of like that with Saga right now.
Oh, I
know it's
you
fucking
keep
great.
Up on Saga.
It's fucking great, but like say when I missed a few issues, I was like, well, I'll just wait till the trade comes out. Then that turned into, well, I'll just wait until they release a series of trades. I mean, no, I know it's good. I'll get caught up one day. One day.
So that's it, man. That's it. I think I'm on 6. I've read the first 5 volumes of these.
How's it holding up?
I'm still enjoying it. Each volume is different enough, a different arc of something going on to keep me keep me interested. I have made some inquiries out to some peoples that I know and trust to inquire if will they attempt to take back their homelands, and the answer is yes, they will attempt to. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how everything progresses in the lead up to them trying to get back to their homes and how that whole thing plays out. Yeah. So this is Fables is highly regarded as one of the series you need to read. So figure we might as well fucking read it. Talk about it here on the ABCs of TPBs.
There you go.
Boom. We got anything else, sir? I mean, that about wraps this whole shebang bang bad boy up.
That does wrap us up.
Free comic book day. Did you do anything free comic book day?
I did not.
All right, then. Well, that's
I skipped. Did you?
Yeah.
Tell us about your free comic book day, sir. Where'd you go? What'd you see? What'd you pick up?
As always, I went to Heroes on Hard 5. The big guys in town. A couple of my other friends went to Rebel Base. The smaller guys in town. Me and 3 of my friends have a tradition. We are always the first people there in line. One of us always gets there to Heroes round about 5 a.m. To ensure that we're the first people in line.
So how long has this been a tradition?
This is our 4th year.
4th year. Because I've been going to some of these free comic book days at Heroes within the past 4 years. And I've been the first in line.
Are you sure about that, sir? We were the first in line in 2015 or 16. Is this the third year or fourth? This is the third year. 16. We were the first in line. I got there at 8 a.m. and one of them were already there at 7 a.m. Last year, I got there about 8, and they just kind of hushed me over into the line for the beginning. And then this year, I got there about 7, and we were the first in line.
I'm trying to think if I remember seeing you back then.
I don't know. But this is our yearly meetup. This is the only time all 4 of us are in the same place at the same time. Sometimes in some combination or form, we will bump into each other at other things, but it's the only time all 4 of us. So that's when we get a chance to catch up and chit-chat and BS and talk about movies and comics and whatnot for a couple of hours until the joint opens up. Opens up, we dash and grab, get our stuff, and then they open up. And the artists come in about 1 o'clock. And then, you can stand in line to try to get some sketches done. I couldn't do that this year because my daughter's birthday party was going down, so I blame her wholeheartedly for being born at this time. But it was good, man. I got to see preview of Jason Aaron's gonna be taking over for the Avengers. If you know he had the Thor run that's very widely acclaimed. He's taking over the Avengers, so that's pretty interesting. I just read that before you came in. Dan Slott, who's writing Spider-Man Forever, is taking over for Iron Man for this bit of business. So it'll be interesting to see what he comes up with there. Nick Spencer, who did the famous Hail Hydra cap in the Secret Empire and all that, he's doing Spider-Man now. So I picked up a Spider-Man joint to see what's talking about. And then also a thing or two from Image I haven't read yet, and some other stuff. There's a Meta Baron comic there for free. I picked up, and I got one for you, sir.
I like it.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for, man.
You know what? You are a true friend. I take back everything bad I've ever said about you.
And I know you don't, but that's okay.
Well, yeah.
You still try to
friends
stab me
know when
myself.
other friends lie.
So yeah. It's always a good time, man. It's always a fun time. You see people, dressed up and do their thing or whatever. You see the lines there on the block. People driving by like, what the fuck are they doing? What's going on out there? And there's a woman dressed up as Supergirl who looked quite nice, and all sorts of goodness comes out of free comic. It's free comic books, man. You gotta go and support your local comic book store.
My daughter was sick this weekend, and even if she hadn't been sick, I would have skipped out on it. I wasn't feeling it this year.
Yeah. If there's word free in the title, I will be feeling it at all times.
I get you.
Yeah.
Free syphilis?
Free syphilis, I'm not feeling that.
No. Well, we just found the exception. The one exception.
You broke my defenses down, I guess. So that's gonna do it for this episode of the ABCs, the TPBs. We'll be back in 2 of the weeks. Theoretically, to do our G's, sir. What do you have queued up for the G's?
For my G, I've got Ghost Rider, Punisher, Wolverine.
That's gonna be interesting.
That's gonna be a clusterfuck of epic proportions. And there's no way that those 3 are supposed to be involved in anything.
Anything.
But the series makes it happen. And we'll talk about how effective that actually was.
All right, then. I look forward to it because it just sounds so batshit weird.
It is. Did I give that to you yet?
Yep, yeah, I got it there. I was thinking about breaking into it maybe later on tonight after I get done editing all this bit of business.
And what's yours?
And mine is Grass Kings from Boom Studios.
I need to get Grass Kings, good sir.
Yeah, well, it's on here.
Oh, okay. Well, just shoot me a link.
I'll slide you those infos.
I appreciate it.
Indeed. So that's going to do it, man, for this week. Back in 2 weeks with our G episode. Until then, you guys have a good one and take it easy.